All right, Johnny, who do we have next? We have Lad McConkey, which reminds me of Phil McConkey of the New York Giants, coming in, second round draft pick to the San Diego Chargers, Jim Harbaugh, Justin Herbert. I'm looking big numbers at a slot receiver. They got rid of Eckler. They got rid of Williams. I think that they have big plans for this guy coming out of the slot and then having Johnston out wide. I think they actually have faith with Johnston as the number one receiver. Otherwise, they wouldn't let Eckler and Williams both go. But he's 2 inches shorter than Franklin, but he's a little bit bigger. He's a little bit faster. He didn't produce high numbers in college. What are you thinking about this kid?
It's quite interesting because when me and Johnny a couple of weeks ago spoke about players we were going to talk about, we spoke about the Franklin and McConkey, and they're pretty much similar types. Like when you look at combine numbers, they're quite similar in how the measurables and how they tested. Lad McConkey's got a lot more. It looks like short burst speed. They're quite. Their 40 times are quite similar, but
more athletic.
Yeah, he had the more. He had the shorter speed, so we thought it'd be good to put together because they are very similar situations where they really the wide receiver room got decimated this offseason, so you could almost see him. Like I've been doing drafts these last couple of weeks and months and so, and he's been going a lot higher than I thought he would have gone, what was quite interesting. But I do get it because if you look at the wide receiver room, it's Joshua Palmer, Quinton Johnson, and Lad McConkey. They're the top three wide receivers as the depth charts online are saying at the moment. But Quinton Johnston, he didn't really show anything last year to.
No, he didn't. But that's
warrant anything.
That's common for a lot of.
Joshua Palmer showed all right stuff, but like when it was put on his shoulders, I don't think he can do it. So you could definitely see Lad McConkey coming straight in. You could see him coming straight in and being a contributor. Certainly. My biggest concern with him, and where this differs from Franklin to McConkey, where I'd pick Franklin over McConkey, is Jim Harbaugh and the offensive coordinator. I'm sure the stat is the offensive coordinator they've got. I can't remember his name, but in something like the last 10 years of him being an offensive coordinator, he's only had one top 5 offense in passing. Very, very run-centric, and so's Jim Harbaugh. So Lad McConkey is literally who the wide receiver they like the most out of them three, and he might get the most targets. So it's just, for me, even though he looks like he could be, he could have potential to have a great rookie season, you can't buy into him solely because of how that team's going to be set up with the run game, unless they use him in the run game. To that, you might know better than me. I don't know whether he could be effective in the run game. His short burst, his speed might help, but
I mean, he looks kind of like a bit smaller version of Christian McCaffrey. I mean,
in the picture Johnny's got there, it literally looks like Christian McCaffrey.
I mean, he looks like he does have a 4.39 in the 40, which is faster than Franklin's. He's one of those guys that I knew very little prior to the draft. Once he was drafted in the second round, and seeing how the Chargers are thin at wide receiver, I was like, this is a very interesting pick. I only I have not drafted McConkey in mini drafts. It's more due to the fact to where I have him slotted and I don't have picks there. But I would predict more early success from McConkey than Franklin.
You think there'll be more success with McConkey?
Early success.
No.
I think because of his route running. His biggest strength, as Uwe Kick said, is his route running. He's an excellent route runner. Every website I read, that's what they talked about. The YouTube videos, the route running. And that is the biggest thing for NFL wide receivers to, the push off the line of scrimmage and the route running. Right? And I think that he could produce bigger numbers immediately than Franklin.
My biggest issue is just can't remember, someone put it in the chat, is Greg Roman. I just don't like their setup. I don't like
Greg Roman. That's right.
Barry put it in, and it really puts me off. And this McConkey, because obviously, like we said, you look at the depth chart, you look at the Chargers, you look at Herbert, you look at all these factors, and you're like, oh, he's going to be amazing. But I just think he's a trap to me.
Yards on the season.
He is a trap to me. He worries me. If he, like I said to you before about Franklin, if I've built my team out and I've got my team there, and then like you said, if I'm looking for a wide receiver 4 or something like that, and he's there, I might just take a flyer solely because of them things, because of his situation. But for me personally, it concerns me because even though, he's good at route running, but he's also a good blocker on the outside. So he's going to be used to help create space for the running back. He also, he's good off the line, his route running and stuff, but is he just going to be used on short plays as a rookie? And then they're going to use Joshua Palmer and stuff like that deeper, who will then get the yards, potentially get the deep touchdowns, creating more points when it comes to fantasy. So he's personally, I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to be seeking him out unless he's just there and I've created my team personally. But I think Franklin, with the way the teams are set up, I think Franklin, with Bo Nix and if Sean Payton gets his head out of his own ass, I think I'd prefer Franklin over McConkey.
Yeah, that's the thing about the Chargers. Every year they get built up that they're going to be this explosion on offense, and every year it seems like we get disappointed. Eckler had that breakout season, but then, Herbert last year, I don't know what happened to him. I think he was the 14th ranked quarterback in the OrkneyBowl. So
yeah, it's an interesting conversation. As preseason starts and we get more information and more reports come out about these rookies, where we can come back and get a better picture when it comes to fantasy, because Jim Harbaugh loves the run game, as Barry put a comment up there. But then their running backs are Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins. Like, fucking Lad McConkey might have to go running back at this point if he's the fastest wide receiver on the field, because they might not have any running backs by game week 5. Like, real weird situation for a run-heavy offensive coordinator and head coach. They've got 2 lame ducks as the RB1 and 2, so it'll be interesting.
The whole San Diego situation is interesting, but I do not bet against Harbaugh. He has been a winner every single place he has been. Fresno State, Stanford, San Fran, Michigan, big time winner. So I would not be surprised if the Chargers put up big numbers. But again, Chargers are going to charge. So
hopefully he'll fall flat on his face just because of his 49er days.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I know you're a big 49er fan. Yeah. So, all right. I think we have the consensus on Lad McConkey.